everyone, and welcome back to Dear DharmaDude. My name is Vivian, and I'm with the venerable Mr. Hin Cheng, and my special guest, Jimmy. So to continue on from last time, we were talking about family gossip. And Jimmy, do you have a further question on that topic?
Yeah, my question is, why do people gossip? Like
I have to laugh at this because it is like human nature. It's very interesting. That is the very thing that the Buddha himself said, that there's a few things that when we talk, we just gear into it. First of all, we talk about ourselves. Okay? We call the mark of self. We're just talking about ourselves. And then there's the thing that we talk about people, with the mark of people. And then we talk about, in general topic, about good and bad, and good, but also about feelings about other people. Basically, that's a few topics that we're just moving from one to the other. But the interesting part about gossiping is when you gossip, what do?
Like you just talk down on people, I think. Right?
Yeah. Do you talk about good things about people?
Sometimes.
When gossiping going on, usually it's about something not very pleasant, right?
Oh.
When you're gossiping, do you ever be like, oh, he's such a good baseball player? This actually doesn't constitute as gossiping. You know?
Oh.
So what do you think gossiping is in terms of what's actually being said?
Aren't you just trying to put down someone?
Yeah, slandering,
right.
And really slandering somebody else. You're really putting down somebody else. Something that is not positive.
Oh, okay.
So it's very negative. So you can see, you think negative there is come from the person or come from the family culture?
From the person talking, or what do you mean?
Yeah. So the kind of gossiping, that habit is because of the person, individual. Does it come from individual, or does it come from the family culture?
I'm not sure.
Sometimes it comes from the person, right? Meaning the person had a bad habit of talking.
Oh yeah,
bad thing about
right.
people.
Yeah.
But usually the person pick up that habit somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Even with maybe from friends. Regards to school.
Oh yeah.
You listen to your family talking about, families. Sometimes we're talking about these people, that people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it has coming from a few places, but those places must be very intimate. Because you cannot learn this from school. From movie. In movie, you don't see people gossiping that much. So gossiping is a habit that you learn it in the intimate circle. For example, family, with the very close friends. I cannot gossip with somebody I don't know, right?
Right.
I have to gossip with somebody very close to me. And so, yes, gossiping comes from a very intimate circle.
Okay.
So sometimes it's very funny because it's really funny because if you want to find out, where it's from, you'll be shocked to know that it's come from you and the intimate circles. And how do we fix it? Do you think we have a way to fix it?
I've been trying to figure that one out. So.
Because if the individual, sometimes we can stop. We have the determination to stop it.
Yeah.
And usually, if we look at people's goodness, then usually the gossiping turns into something else. You talk about good things about people only. You look at somebody else, you don't look at their shortcomings. You look at their achievement. You look at their goodness. You look at their greatness, maybe, or something they do good. Then the talk no longer is about gossiping. It's about understanding, value, and praising other. So if the talk is turned to that gossiping, then it must be because maybe I am negative myself. I got things in my heart. I got things I'm really unhappy about, so I got to get it out. So maybe gossiping is a good way for me to unleash all of this negativity. Now that's one possibility. It could be many possibilities that people started gossiping, because when you gossip, you really get things out.
Yeah.
You get off your chest. You really get something out there, right? So people feel good about throwing out those negativity. But the thing is they're good doing that, but the people who get it really suffer. Especially if I'm going to gossip about Vivian. Wow, I feel good, only temporary. But if I see Vivian, I will be happy because I didn't say something bad for her. You see, and so and the gossiping habit go with deception, because we have to try to stay very smooth and very cool with the person that we just gossip about. So we live kind of two-faced. We no longer really become whole and real. That's the problem. And so dealing with it individually is really a problem. Now let's take to the other side of the street, family. Because we cannot learn, like I say, individual, we have to learn intimate circle. So sometimes the family, the father and the mother, they're talking about gossip. You sit, you eat with them, and you hear with them, and you practice along with them, and you imitate them, see? So that's a problem. So we have to change it. We have to change the family culture, meaning, for example, if you're married, okay, in the future, for example, you don't want to start gossiping and let your kids listen to the gossiping. Make sense?
Right, that makes sense.
Okay. What do you think about the whole thing that I just talked? Do you feel the gossiping that you have heard in the family and all that is pretty much a culture there? Meaning people have done it unconsciously? It's a product of the habits, or it's just some individual only? Is this a culture of your family, or the family you see, or just one or two individual?
From my experience,
yeah,
it's not just like certain people do it. It's like everyone does it.
Very normal, and they're unconscious about it. Totally unaware about what they're doing.
Maybe, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
Meaning they don't feel the hurt. They don't feel the hurt from these people they gossip about.
Oh yeah, like they don't like it's like they don't think ahead about like who.
Consequence, yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
What do you think, Vivian?
So I read in Chicken Soup, I don't know if you know that,
Right.
Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul
Yeah.
and whatnot. Gossiping is like a double-edged sword where, once you gossip and say it's based on some false premise, like it's a lie that you weren't aware of, what happens is it's like plucking a chicken's feathers and then just letting it go. And then once you say something, you can't actually take that back. And then so the feathers, they fly with the wind everywhere, and maybe every now and then you are able to undo one or two feathers, but you can't actually like let that go. So what you can do then is possibly change your mindset. Instead of, if you hear gossip, then you're like, oh, you're like, oh, this person did this, and then actually we told him not to, he did this again. So what you can say instead is, well, how about that one time he was really good in school or something? Instead, shift that energy somewhat.
You try to see the goodness. You try to see
and then
something good about people.
To transcend that energy to whoever, like your family members. Like if they're collectively saying your girlfriend da 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 da, you're like, well, actually she's an honor roll. Or she was really there for me when I was sad. And then all of a sudden your family's like, oh, okay. And then they kind of have to stop that energy, that negativity, and then probably shift it elsewhere. So, that could work. Because sometimes when a gossip or rumor is out there, it's pretty much irreversible unless you stop it.
And you yourself don't want to participate in gossiping.
Right.
You have to build that habit, and then your energies naturally become positive, so people don't get you into it. Otherwise, we'll be attracted to gossiping. It's very interesting. If I'm a gossiper, I attract people who like to gossip. You see that? So you stop the energy, and then you try to look at the good side, the good point, and then you emanate that good energy to people.
So we're just running just about out of time. So essentially, again, before you, when you encounter a rumor or you hear gossiping or whatnot, the best thing to do is kind of, again, be aware of what's going on, the fact that it is gossiping, that it could be harmful, transform that energy into something positive, and then either remove yourself from that environment so that you aren't affected by it, or try to change that if you're able to. So thank you, Master, for your wisdom. Thank you, Jimmy, for your question, and thank you, viewers. See you next time. Bye.